Males who got sexually harassed, what's your story? I was at a bar that was my regular watering hole, and I was bent over the counter talking to the bartender. It was loud as duck and we needed to hear each other. I have hair halfway down my back, and was bent over with my shoulders rounded and half hidden under my hair. Some fucknut decided to grope me, thinking I was a woman. He grabbed my ass and rammed his fingers into my taint, right where one would expect to find a vagina. He didn't. I was not amused, but he nearly shat himself when the woman he groped turned around and was a 6 feet 3 inches very angry man. I let the bouncer know, and he kept an eye on him and ended up throwing him out later. I was at a party and, later in the evening, the hostess and her friend pulled me to the floor and tried to unzip my pants to measure my penis. One of them had a ruler. It was actually a struggle to break away from them. They thought it was funny, I did not. Edit, this was back in the late 80s. A different time. I never gave a thought of being sexually harassed or assaulted, but I did feel kind of humiliated and uncomfortable after. They were part of my circle of friends. I was pretty young and they were a bit older. It was a struggle to break away without hurting them. I was concerned about being seen as the aggressor. Both of their husbands were there, but I don't think they knew this went down. There were a lot of people around, but it was kind of dark in the house by this time. It's been over 30 years and I haven't seen them in a long time, but I still remember their names. Let me preface this, I'm a small dude. I had a group of friends, and one of these girls was absolutely convinced I had a hog leg for a dick for some reason. It got to the point where no gathering was left without a joke being made by her about, Fuddy's huge dick, he won't share one. I don't have a huge dick. 2. While initially somewhat flattering, it got really old, really quick. So, I was at a small party while she was there, and it ended with her mostly drunk trying to pull my shorts down to prove my size, after she straight up tried to grab my junk. Shitty part was, it was just all fun and games to the whole crowd. I don't associate with most of those folks anymore. That's really lame. Definitely would get old real quick. Sorry you dealt with that bullshit. I was like 5, 6 years old and some relatives had visited us. With those relatives was one of my aunts that was like 40 years old. Long story short, she asked me if my dick has grown and I didn't say anything, so she put her hand in my pants and touched it. I don't remember my reaction then, but I remember everyone laughing for some reason. Edit, I wasn't expecting this to get so many comments because that's my first comment. Also, this isn't a big deal, at least for me, and I don't feel like a victim, but I know that's sexual harassment and my siblings freaked out when I told them. Also, she was a step aunt, not an aunt. Sorry for my English. Also, I'm a Greek, not an Asian. Tired and stranded at Denver Airport as an 18-year-old trying to fly home from college. The airport was nearly completely empty and it was in the middle of the night. I was exhausted and fell asleep on a bench only to wake up to an airport janitor with his hand in my pants. I immediately sat up and pushed him away. He was smiling and saying something in an Eastern European accent. I left the area and went to the other side of the terminal. But I was so tired I fell asleep again and again woke up to this same creep groping me. This was in the 1980s before ubiquitous cameras and there were no cops around. Not that I would have been able to tell. I was embarrassed and traumatized. I can still see his creepy smile and I was so angry and afraid. What the duck is wrong with people? I'm so sorry, man. Had a girl in social study rub her chest in my face while I was sitting up against a wall and couldn't move away. I tried to push her off me, which of course made her laughing friends tell the teacher I grouped her. I hate that girl. And no one's figured out why, even though there was a classroom full of people who saw it. Edit, I'm not saying no one figured out that she was assaulting me, everyone just seemed to forget about it, as if this wasn't a big deal. Girls can be perverts as well. My freshman year in high school, a girl asked for my help in algebra. She grabbed my hand and put it on her pussy for me to play with. I wasn't harassed, but it did catch me the duck off guard. I've literally had to explain to people that men don't just want sex all the time, and just because you want it doesn't mean Jay have to have sex with you even if I'm in a relationship. If I say no, duck off, it means no and for you to fuck off. When I was younger, a number of my male classmates started dry humping me for fun. I was a very small kid, so I really couldn't do anything to push them back. After every turn, each of them would stand up and show their bulging erections. I'm a straight guy, by the way, and that experience still haunts me to this day. This sounds like a boarding school horror story. A girl from my uni course got her significantly larger friend to come up to me in a club and physically force us together. I tried saying no and that I didn't want to numerous times, but she ended up kissing me and biting me. I managed to push her off and get out of there, but I really struggle to be around her now. No one else treats it very seriously either. Have you considered speaking to the university about it? Like even if you go through the counseling or something. A messed up kid in my school raped another guy and said that the guy he raped him. Poor kid got expelled for being a victim. This whole thing went down at a party and someone said so and so was having sex in the person's living room, so we went to say go get a room. We heard someone saying stop it and we rushed over to break it up. An investigation went down in the school district and the cops got involved. That's when the chief of our PD said at school to drop it because the victim's parents paid off the detective that was doing the investigation. The whole thing was wasted. And no charges were pressed. I edited this BTW. The first 3 lines were original, but I added the rest because I was getting the same questions, so I thought I would clear things up. Not even an investigation? When I was in 6th grade, 2 kids trapped me in the bathroom and made me have oral sex with them. It's something that still messes with me to this day. I couldn't even do anything. They said they would kill me if I told anyone. Never got over that. I told my parents and my dad thinks I'm lying for some reason. Hess one of those people who think men can't be raped. I just don't understand how someone's brain can be wired to do something as horrible and disgusting as that to another human, and to not believe someone who worked up the courage to tell someone and look for solace after having something like that happen to them. I'm sorry that all happened to you and hope you're doing as best as you can now. This is what I don't get about parents who just call their kids liars and dismiss everything. Even if your kid comes to you with a total fabrication of something like this, they still need help. Validate their feelings. Take them to their pediatrician. Find a therapist or counselor that they may be more comfortable opening up to. Get them help whether they've been raped or assaulted or they're making it up. Either way, something is going on and your kid needs you in their corner more than ever. Also, young kids generally don't have the knowledge of sexual acts required to fabricate stories about them. If your kid says something weird, take it seriously. The old lady cashiers at the grocery store used to kick the shopping baskets over to me and ask me to bend over and pick them up for them and stuff like that. Then they would say ooh when I did and make comments and other nonsense. It was odd. I was 1617. They were 40s, 50s. What the hell? Yeah, exactly. Worked behind a bar. One woman in particular always inappropriate, which grew louder the more she came in and the more she drank. Weirdly, it was in front of her husband and daughter, also drunk. She was 50 plus, daughter was 16 to 18. Escalated to physical grabbing, groping, and at one point yanking my tie and pulling me toward her. Luckily the bar taps were too tall and the bar was too wide for her to get close enough to do anything. Also groped in a supermarket once, didn't even see who did it. I don't think I'm even attractive. I used to work in a grocery store. One of the cashiers was openly into me. Whenever I had to go through her line, she would refuse to ring me up unless I'd agree to go on a date with her. Lots of customers and other staff laughing and egging her on. It's a weird type of powerlessness, because of the switched genders and how everyone else was reacting. Confusingly humiliating. I was a manager at the time, and had to have a conversation with her manager about what was happening. It stopped soon after. Worked at a gas station. Customer asked if we had protein shakes. I said yes. He asked where I walked him over there and he stuck his hand down my pants. It was on video and he got a $500 fine for sexual assault. My half-sister attempted to rape me when I was 5 and she was 16. Told my parents about it and none of them gave a shit about it. I can literally not be in the same room as her. Whenever I see her, my brain instantly goes just run, but my legs refuse to move. I don't want to be rude. But your parents suck. I fully agree. When I told my dad, I haven't heard about this before. When I told my mom, are you sure it wasn't game that went too far? Gee, thanks mom. I know it's not your daughter, but thanks a lot for pretending to give a shit. Are you sure it wasn't game that went too far? If it went too far, something should have been done about it. She did not really care about what my half-sisters did to begin with because it wasn't her daughters by blood. You'd think she'd care then if she was hurting a kid who was hers by blood.